closer we get to Election Day, the more it seems Republicans in tight races are distancing themselves from Donald Trump. Now, actions speak louder than words, and it's clear that the former president is now seen as a liability in many swing races. And that goes not just for moderates, but even for some staunch conservatives who've previously been strong Trump allies. Republican Utah Senator Mike Lee is currently in a close battle with independent candidate Evan McMullin. Sort of remarkable that this is close in deep red Utah. The first competitive race they've had, Senate race, since '76 when Orrin Hatch defeated Democrat incumbent Frank Moss. At a debate Monday night in Orem, Utah, the Republican incumbent tried his best to distance himself from the former president.
I call out President Trump all the time. I voted less with President Trump than anyone else other than Rand Paul and Susan Collins. In fact, I called out President Trump about spending bills specifically, including one time when he called me on my airplane coming back to Utah, and I told him it was a huge mistake. I called him out in public and in private, on a train, in the rain, with a fox in a box, every time I got the chance.
Apparently, Lee now believes it's bad politics to be closely aligned with Donald Trump, which is kind of stunning. And he's not the only one. Republican Colorado Senate candidate Joe O'Dea has escalated his attacks on the former president over January 6th to the point where he's vowing to try to prevent the former president from winning back the White House in 2024.
I believe that the January 6th was a black eye on the country. I've been very vocal that I thought he should have done more to keep the violence from heading towards the Capitol. I don't think Donald Trump should run again. I'm going to actively campaign against Donald Trump.
And somehow that strategy appears to be working for O'Dea. National Republican groups have begun pouring millions into the O'Dea campaign, with party strategists thinking he could pull an upset over Democrat incumbent Michael Bennet. And even those who most aggressively courted Trump's endorsement in the primary have begun distancing themselves from him in the general election campaigns, after some carefully worded takes about the 2020 election designed not to run afoul of the former president. Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania has come down strongly against Trump on an issue critical to the former president.
Would you have objected to the certification of the 2020 election and Joe Biden's win?
I would not have objected to it. By the time the delegates and those reports were sent to the U.S. Senate, our job was to approve it, which is what I would have done.
And even previously staunch Trump ally Herschel Walker in Georgia is publicly disputing the former president's repeated claim that he actually won the 2020 election.
And did President Biden win?
President
Biden won, and Senator Warnock won. That's the reason I decided to run.
Many Republican candidates across the country are seeing that if they actually want to win office, they need to move more to the middle. Democrats are doing it too, by the way, with more liberal candidates like Wisconsin's Mandela Barnes and Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro trying to position themselves as moderates. But it's a reminder that what we call the marginalized moderate majority remain the most powerful political force in America. And for all the noise from and about the extremes, when push comes to shove, the majority of Americans want candidates somewhere much closer to the middle. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.